With Pastor Jason Jarvis from Calera Baptist Church, and if you can't tell by his shirt, he is the man, the myth, the legend, the papa. I love the shirt, by the way.
And I did emphasize that I did not buy this.
Yes, he did not buy it, but it's a great shirt, by the way, so I had to point it out to our viewers who are watching.
Well, thank you.
My question for you this week is about acceptance, and I'm trying to teach my children who go to daycare and go to school to be more accepting, but I don't want them to sacrifice their morals and their values. So looking for guidance and direction on how they can love others but not have to agree with what they believe in.
Sure. I think we've talked about something similar to this in the past, and I think it's very important to understand there's a difference in accepting people and loving them and accepting what they do as truth or what they say as truth. Non-believers are not going to act like believers, and so if we're going to spend any time around non-believers, we have to understand we can't put limits on the idea of saying if they're not going to do everything the way that I think it ought to be done, then I can't even talk to them, or I can't be out in public in the same place that they are. However, at the same time, we don't need to withhold truth. We need to tell truth in love. And so there's a big difference in saying accepting people and accepting and embracing what they do.
Gotcha.
The world today, what I believe we hear more than anything is that the world wants us not to just accept people and to realize that they're going to have different beliefs than us, but they want us to embrace the sin that's being committed. And so that's a danger that we can get into when we talk about accepting, because there is a big difference. And so we have to be very careful with that. Jesus was around non-believers. He said that he's sending us out into this world where we're going to be around wolves. We're going to be around people who believe differently than us. We're going to be out in a dangerous place where people are going to try to convince us that the Bible's not true even. However, he said that while I'm sending you out, I'm going to ask the Father to protect you. While we're out around people who don't believe in Jesus, it gives us opportunities to share the truth of the gospel with them. And that's what Jesus did. So he was around sinners, but he didn't accept or embrace the things that they did. He told the truth, and he told it in love. And so even the idea of confronting things that people are doing, we need to do that in love, and we can do that just as Jesus did. And so people wanted to hear from him. They wanted to hear what he had to say, because he did tell the truth, but he did it while loving them. He told them, this is not right because it's going to cause you to head in a direction that you don't want to go. What we tend to do many times as believers, though, is we will say, hey, you need to stop doing that. It's not right. And that's no explanation at all, other than I'm telling you it's wrong because I believe it's wrong, therefore you're wrong, you ought to quit. Well, that's not got backing. It has backing when we say, I care about you. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because I love you, and I think that your life is worth more than just simply going down a path that will head you toward death. And so I want to share with you something in love that will help you live to be joyful, to have peace in your heart, to have hope in the future. And so that there's a big difference in the way we approach that.
And I know we've talked about before, sharing the gospel, sharing the good news, and then we have to leave it in God's hand, right?
That's right.
That's right. We can't constantly pursue something that we have no control over, right? You tell them the truth, you tell them the good news, and then it's up to God, right?
Well, we can't fix people. And that's what we tend to want to do. That's the work of the Holy Spirit. We can point them to Christ and let the Holy Spirit do the work, because he's the one who is going to do the work. We can't talk someone into salvation. What we can do is we can share the gospel, and the Holy Spirit open their heart and their mind to him. And so we can't fix people. We can't fix this world. But what we can do is we can tell them great news. And we can tell them how they can be saved and have hope for all eternity. And that's a wonderful message we can share. And so instead of having to look at the world as something that we have to accept, look at it as something that we are living in and among, but we're not part of. And that's how Jesus described it. You're in the world, but you're not of the world. And so while you're in the world, be about the Lord's business and share the love of Christ with others who are around you.
Absolutely. Now, I know for several weeks we've been each Sunday we've been talking about the Beatitudes, right?
Yes.
The Sermon on the Mount. So what can we look forward to this Sunday?
Well, we're going to continue in the Beatitudes. As a matter of fact, we have one more week after this week in the Beatitudes.
Okay.
And these are the blessed are, the happy are.
Uh-huh.
And so we're going to learn more about that this week. And
Okay.
we're going to finish up next week with the Beatitudes, and we're going to combine a couple.
Okay.
But this week, what we're going to talk about is those who love peace, those who drive for peace, those who seek peace with other people. And we're going to learn what that means, a biblical viewpoint of what it means to have peace with others.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know I could use more peace in my life, and so that's definitely going to be a great lesson. We hope to see you at Calera Baptist Church this Sunday.
What were you about to say?
Yeah, I was about to mess that up. Thank you for pointing that out. Nice shirt. This Sunday, our service times are at 8:30 and 10:40.